but you're reported, and I need that story ASAP. So, get the interview done today, and get the edited video to me tonight. Bing, bang, boom. I get my story, and you'll be off for Christmas. Easy. Lois Lane, get in here. I've got an assignment for you.
Mac, how many times do I have to ask you to call me by my real name? You know, Lois Kane.
Look, can I help it if your parents thought it'd be funny to name you Lois Kane, which rhymes with Lois Lane, and you're a reporter, so Lois Lane fits. Plus, you know, I'm practically Superman.
I know, Superman. You do realize that this place is hardly the Daily Planet.
Close enough. Now, Lois, I've got an assignment for you.
Mac, it's Christmas Eve, for Pete's sake. I've got guests coming tonight, and I was really hoping we would be, hint, leaving early this afternoon so I could get my apartment ready and the meal finished and...
Yeah, you're the second reporter bellyaching about the holidays. Look, nobody loves the holidays like I do, especially Christmas.
Bah, humbug.
Bah, humbug? I thought you said you had visitors coming. That does not sound like you're very vested.
Well, they will be, and I'll enjoy having them over, but all this Christmas hype is just that, hype.
You know, most people really like Christmas. Gifts, shopping, and how about using Christmas to celebrate the birth of Jesus? You do believe in Jesus, don't you, Lois?
I do, but I guess I'm just a little more skeptical about all things spiritual lately.
Where's your faith, Lois?
I think it's faded, Mac. Actually, as cynical as you are, I'm surprised you're talking about the Savior of the world.
Listen, I may be hard-boiled, but I've had a life full of experiences that made my faith grow. Which reminds me, I've got an assignment for you.
Yes, you said that.
I want you to go on Main Street, interview some last-minute shoppers, and see if there are people as faithless as you.
I am not without faith.
Whatever.
But Mac, I can't go out now. It's
Christmas Eve. Yes, you and everyone else keeps reminding me what day it is. Now, get out there, do some interviews, and get it on video. Then you can go feed your friends. You know, you might just learn something. Maybe you'll be surprised and find your faith revived and growing in the right direction.
Maybe.
Hey, Lois Lane,
Yes, Superman.
come back this afternoon and tell me what you've learned.
I'll be back as soon as I can.
Faster than a speeding bullet?
Right. Now to find a few people to interview. Excuse me, Lois Kane, Channel 9 TV. I'm doing a story about Christmas shoppers. Do you both have a few minutes to answer some questions?
Well, we're really busy.
I'm just asking shoppers what's most important to them during Christmas.
Look, we got to eat. And we have more gifts to buy.
So gifts, is that what's most important to you?
No, as a matter of fact, it's about finding time to get everything done. And we really do not have time for this.
I'm wasting your time?
Well, to be honest, That's right. We're sorry. Excuse us.
Well, bye, I guess. I could have told Mac this would not be easy. Lois Kane, Channel 9 TV. May I ask you a few questions?
Ooh, TV.
Yes, I'm the TV reporter for Channel 9 TV. Do you have some time to sit with me on the park bench and answer some questions?
I'd love to.
I'm doing a story on what people find important about Christmas.
Uh-huh.
And may I ask your name?
Name? Oh, my name. Brigitte. B-R-I-D-G-E-T-T-E.
Bridigette.
That's right.
So, Bridget,
Brigitte.
Brigitte, tell me, Brigitte, what do you find most important about Christmas?
What? Oh, sales. Definitely the sales.
Okay. And did you find many sales today?
Oh, yes. Last minute shopping is always fantastic.
Are there any other reasons you celebrate Christmas?
Well, I really love the food and decorating. I love to decorate.
What about the birth of Jesus Christ? Does that figure into your holiday at all?
Oh, yes. I was going to say that one as well.
Well, thank you so much for talking to me, Brigitte.
Oh, yes. Well, thank you.
Merry Christmas!
Oh, Merry Christmas, Louise.
That's Lois, Brigitte, not Louise. Well, Mac, so far I've learned my faith is not on the same level as most everyone else's. Everyone's too busy with life, too busy enjoying the holiday to worry about a child born in a manger. This is going to be a very uplifting piece of television viewing. Excuse me, sorry. I'm Lois Kane from Channel 9 TV. Would you be able to spare a few minutes from your Christmas shopping to answer some questions? Well, sure. Thank you. Just make yourself comfortable on that bench and I'll get the camera ready. I know it's Christmas Eve, so I appreciate you taking time to talk to me. I have to get this story completed this afternoon, and I'm finding people are either very busy or too distracted to really talk to me.
You do look a little exasperated, and no one should feel that way this time of year. I'm happy to talk to you.
Thanks again. Let's start with an easy question. What is your name?
Rochelle. My name is Rochelle.
Rochelle.
No, Rochelle.
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 Rochelle. Close enough. And tell me, Rochelle, what do you find most important about Christmas?
I love everything about Christmas. Though I know we don't really have the season pegged correctly for his birth, I do think it is a beautiful time of year to reflect on Jesus.
So you focus on the nativity story this time of year.
Well, that's certainly the beginning of Christ becoming flesh. But for me, Christmas is a time to remember why I believe in my Savior.
How do you do that through all the commercialization of the holiday?
When I need to renew my faith, I look to the humans discussed in the Bible. Just like me, they all had their faults, and yet so many continued to grow in faith. It's very inspiring. Take Abraham, for instance. I love watching Abraham's faith grow over time. When Abraham was 75, God told him to go to Canaan, where he would make a great nation of him. Abraham went, but he would question, how could this be? After all, Abraham had no children, but God kept repeating his promise. By age 86, Abraham's faltering faith in God's timeline saw him father a child with Sarah's handmaid. But that was not God's plan.
Yes, Lord, I see the stars in the sky. My descendants will outnumber what I see.
At age 99, Abraham was still waiting for that son of promise. And even though God repeated his covenant to this man he considered righteous, Abraham did what his wife Sarah would soon do.
I'll have a son. I'm almost 100, and Sarah is 90.
Then God shared his plans to destroy Sodom, the very city where Abraham's nephew Lot lived. Abraham, once again, questioned one of God's plans, and even tried to convince God otherwise.
Surely, God, you wouldn't destroy the righteous and the wicked. What if there are 50 righteous people in the city?
If there are 50 righteous people in the city, I will spare Sodom.
Now that I've been so bold, and I know I'm nothing but dust and ashes, but what if there are only 45 righteous people?
If I find 45, I will not destroy it.
40?
For the sake of 40, I will not do it.
Please do not be angry, Lord, but if there are only 30,
I will not do it if I find 30 there.
boy, I think I'm way over counting here. Excuse me, God, but 20?
For the sake of 20, I will not destroy Sodom.
Now, don't get mad. This is the last time I'll ask. But what would you think about 10?
For the sake of 10, I won't destroy it.
Abraham overcounted by 6 people. Lot, his wife, and 2 daughters were the only ones righteous enough to be saved, and they had to be forced out of Sodom.
And Lot's wife turned to look at the city after being told not to do so, and she turned into a pillar of salt.
I would argue it was very daring for Abraham to bargain with God. But what's really interesting is what Abraham does sometime later when his promised son, Isaac, is older.
Abraham,
Here I am.
take your promised son Isaac and go to Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering.
We're told in the Bible that the same man who repeatedly bargained with God to save his nephew Lot and the city of Sodom did not utter one word of disobedience at the suggestion he sacrifice his son. Instead, Abraham got up the next morning, cut wood, loaded a donkey, and with 2 servants and his son Isaac, obediently traveled to Mount Moriah. When Isaac, loaded down with firewood, asks where the lamb is for the burnt offering, Abraham's answer shows just how much his faith has grown.
God will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son.
Well, you could argue Abraham believed God would not let him go through with sacrificing Isaac.
You could, but Abraham built the altar, arranged the wood, bound Isaac, laid him on the altar, and even had the knife in his hand to sacrifice Isaac before the Lord's angel stopped him and provided a ram instead. I believe we can see how much Abraham's faith grew from questioning God's plans decades before to a man who, with age, understood that God is in control. It appears Abraham learned to have faith, unquestioning faith. Think how peaceful that is. Place your trust in God. Quit trying to worry about everything. God sees the big picture, and He's got it covered.
Thank you. You've not only given me a beautiful segment for the piece I'm working on, but you've given me a lot to think about where my own faith is concerned.
I'm glad I could help, Lois.
Merry Christmas!
Merry Christmas!
Excuse me, Lois Kane, Channel 9 TV. May I interview you for a Christmas segment?
I suppose that's all right.
I'm interviewing shoppers about their Christmas spirit. It will only take a few minutes.
Okay, fire away.
Start by telling me your name.
My name is Katie.
Oh, thank goodness! Finally, a name I can actually say! Sorry. I've been here most of the afternoon, and I've run into people too busy to talk, too distracted to focus, and several with names I could not begin to pronounce.
Sounds like you've had quite an afternoon.
Yes, but I've been learning a lot as well.
So, is this a story you're working on? Or is it an exercise in teaching you a few things?
Well, it is my job, but Now that you mention it, I think my boss knew I needed a little wake-up call too.
That sounds like a loving, caring boss.
Nah. He calls me Lois Lane and thinks of himself as Superman.
I usually find the people in my life who pick on me the most are the ones who care the most. Maybe your boss really just has your best interest in mind. So, what did he ask you to do today?
Well, I'm sure he's noticed my faith is slipping a little, so he told me to talk to people about why they celebrate Christmas. You know, find out what their focus is this time of year.
So you would like me to answer that as well?
Yes, enough about me. Tell me about what drives you during Christmas.
The same thing that makes me get up each morning. That baby who was born in a manger and grew into a man who told the world exactly who he was. He said it, and I believe it. Let me tell you one of my favorite stories in the Bible. I think it says a lot about how some people hated Jesus and others were intrigued by him. But there's no mistaking that all who came in contact with him then and now must decide, who do you think he is? There was a beggar, a man, blind from birth. When the disciples saw the blind man, they asked Jesus whether the blind man or his parents had sinned to cause his blindness. I love Jesus' answer.
Neither he nor his parents sinned. He was born blind so the works of God would be displayed in him.
Then Jesus spit on the ground, made some mud, put it on the man's eyes, and he told the beggar to go wash. Neighbors who knew him, I'm messing up this story. And after he washed, the beggar could see for the first time in his life. Neighbors who knew him were amazed. This was the same man who had been a blind beggar since birth. Others were convinced he just looked like the beggar.
No, it's me.
How did this happen? They would ask, and he would tell them the facts.
This man named Jesus put mud on my eyes. I washed, then I could see.
Now, the Pharisees did not like the fact Jesus healed the man, and they sure did not like the fact he did it on the Sabbath. So they quizzed the beggar about his sight, and he explained, again, what happened.
He put mud on my eyes. I washed, now I see. It's as simple as that.
The Pharisees argued amongst themselves, this Jesus is not from God because he does not keep the Sabbath. Others pointed out it would be impossible for a sinner to perform such a miracle. They asked the man who he thought Jesus was.
Well, I think he's a prophet.
The Pharisees were convinced there must be some logical explanation. Perhaps the man had not been blind since birth. They grilled his parents, who vouched for their son. He had always been blind, but they had no idea how it was he could now see. Tell the truth, the Pharisees pressured the beggar. We know this Jesus is a sinner.
Is he a sinner? I do not know, but one thing I do know is I was blind, but now I see.
Hearing enough, they kicked the man out. Jesus found the beggar and, like the Pharisees, asked the beggar to consider, once again, who had healed him.
Do you believe in the Son of Man?
Who is he, sir? Tell me so that I may believe in him.
You have seen him. In fact, he is the one speaking with you.
That beggar had been blind He had been healed by someone he knew must be sent from God. When the beggar first considered the question, "Who is Jesus?" he decided he must be a prophet. But now, this prophet just shared who he professes to be. And the beggar must decide, once and for all, who is Jesus?
Lord, I believe.
That's a pretty powerful story of faith.
It is. I love Christmas, but what a pity that people focus more on shopping or parties or get-togethers. It's also a pity they stop with the miraculous birth of that baby in a manger. That baby grew in wisdom, and by age 12 became a child who taught elders in the temple. That child, by age 30, became a man whose ministry healed the lame, the blind, and deaf, raised the dead, and then defeated death on the cross. He was more than a miracle birth or a miracle worker. He proclaimed he was the Son of God. That's what makes me sing carols at Christmas time and sing his praises all year long.
Thank you, Katie. I think I needed to hear that story as much as our viewers.
You're welcome, Lois. And be sure to share all that with Superman as well.
You may count on it.
Max Schmeling, Channel 9 producer. Yep, still here. I'm waiting on Lois Lane with the last story before I pack it in. Matter of fact, I think I hear it coming in now. Save me a turkey leg.
Got your story, Mac?
Great. Get some good footage?
I did.
Learn anything while talking to the comic folk?
Actually, yes. Initially, I saw people as busy and wrapped up in their own lives as me. But then I was reminded of stories in the Bible about tremendous faith.
And
And I was reminded of Abraham's faith. At first, he was skeptical and questioned God often about his promise to make a great nation of him. It's really funny how many times he dared keep bargaining with God to save Sodom. First 50 righteous people, then 45, then 40, and so on. I forgot that he even laughed, just like Sarah, when God repeated he would make Abraham a father despite his increasing age.
but Abraham's faith grew.
Yes. Do you recall when God wanted Abraham to sacrifice Isaac, that promised son? Abraham, the same man who questioned and bargained and laughed, was now obedient and did not question at all.
I guess years of seeing God's promises come true finally hit a nerve with old Abraham, huh?
I think so. His faith had grown, and he finally recognized he should simply let go and trust God and God's will.
Reminds me of God letting the Israelites cross the Red Sea on the dry ground. By the time they got to the Promised Land, God had the priest carry the Ark of the Covenant across the Jordan River. Only this time, he did not part the river until the priests got their feet wet.
True. I guess God was seeing if their faith had grown during their time wandering in the wilderness.
Yep, seems so.
Another lady related the story of the healing of the blind man. The Pharisees were convinced Jesus was from Satan and is full of sin. When they pressed the once blind beggar on who had healed him, he said he must be a prophet from God. But after the Pharisees kicked him out, he was asked again who Jesus was. This time by Christ himself. Once Jesus declared he was the Son of God, the beggar believed. His faith grew on a much faster timeline.
You know, Lois, neither of those stories sound very Christmassy.
At the beginning of the day, I would have agreed with you, Mac. But now, well, I'd say they're very Christmassy. They go beyond the story of that baby born in a manger and travel through his lifetime as God's Son on earth. We all have to decide who he is. A prophet, a teacher, a charlatan, or who he said he was, the Son of God.
You're a reporter. Who do you think he is, Lois?
I believe he is the Son of God.
But you believed that before, right?
I did, but I suppose I needed to be reminded why I believed. Maybe I'm like Abraham, and my faith just had to take some time to grow and mature. And you knew I needed to talk to people to reinforce that faith, didn't you, Mac?
We all need to be reminded. We all need to go into our Bibles to learn and grow.
I know Jesus' mother knew that baby was the Son of God, but do you think Mary had any idea everything God would do with that little baby?
At the wedding of Cana, Mary certainly knew Jesus was capable of miraculous things. But Mary is no different than us. We are all just humans. Do any of us know everything God has planned?
No, we do not know a fraction of God's wonders. Thanks for tonight, Mac. I needed it, and you knew that. I do believe you're an old softy, Mac.
No, Lois, I'm not an old softie. I'm Superman. That's right. Now, get out of here, Lois. Go enjoy Christmas. You're keeping me from turkey and dressing.
Thanks, Mac. Merry Christmas to you.
See you first thing Monday morning, Lois Lane.
Mary, did you know that your baby boy would one day walk on water? Mary, did you know
Thank you all very much.